Hey guys, welcome to another recap of The Amazing Race. Last time, Nick and Vicki arrived in last place, but it was a non-elimination round. I watched this episode twice because I thought that they were going to have to perform a speed bump, but I didn't see them do a speed bump anywhere, and if I missed it, I'm sorry. If they didn't have to do one, I'm calling BS because that's really cheap. Every other episode of The Amazing Race that I've seen where there was a non-elimination round, the round before, they made the couple do a task or something, and I didn't really see it. So if you know, please put it in the comments, and shame on you, Amazing Race, if you didn't make them do any kind of penalty. Alright, so they were in St. Petersburg, Russia, and that is where they are staying because they are joining the circus. So it's a detour right off the bat. Either join the circus band or become a circus clown. So joining the band, both team members had to learn a Russian folk song on the accordion. And for circus clown, you had to keep 10 plates spinning for 10 seconds. Both of these were really difficult, I thought anyway. Although I'm finding it hard to believe that nobody is left on the race that knew anything about piano because it's awful similar to accordion. I don't know why anybody didn't get that like right away. Alright, Nick doesn't like clowns. We found that out. He didn't want them touching him. That's really weird. That guy is pretty weird. I don't think I like him too much. Especially the way he treats his girlfriend. I mean, he tells her he loves her and then he calls her a moron. Alright, Nat and Kat, Gary and Mallory, they both chose the accordions right off the bat. And Mallory was getting upset because it was like, there was 3 songs that we had to learn. It was just one. It was really just one. Jill and Thomas, the same thing. They were like, it was like 3 songs in one song. It had 3 parts, okay? So, Jill and Thomas, they switched from plates to band and then back to plates. Chad and Stephanie, they started out on the plates, but they switched to band. Brook and Claire, they started out on plates, and they finished the plates because they totally rocked it out on the first try. So, Bank Bridge was the next place they had to go for a clue, where there were 4 creatures with golden wings. They had to travel on foot, not taxi, and not be led by a taxi, to the tower. I don't remember what the name of it was, but they had to climb up it. Only 1 team member and only 2 people up there at one time. They had to find this little miniature of the place that they were supposed to go, which happened to be the church on spilled blood, and they had to use binoculars to try and find it. So Michael and Kevin, even though Michael told Kevin read the clue carefully, word for word, ended up hiring a taxi so that they could lead them to the spot that they had to go to. That is bad. And even when they got there, somebody said, you took a taxi? You shouldn't have. That should have been a clue right there that they were going to get a penalty. Alright, so Nick and Kat, they were the first 2 up in the tower, and it took them forever. Nick was as dumb as wood, but I have to say Kat was too. They lied to Michael and Kevin and Brook and Claire and told them that it's DS13. That's what they had to look for. And Kevin was totally like, Nick wouldn't lie to us. He's awesome. Guess what? I guess he's not that awesome. So once they figured out that it was the church on spilled blood, they had to go and figure out that the next clue was the Peter and Paul Fortress, because that is where Peter the Great is buried. So Nick totally goes off on Vicki, calls her a moron, 3rd grade mistake, blah, blah, blah. I'm so tired of Nick. I felt bad for him the last leg because I thought he actually learned something, and it's pretty apparent in this leg of the race that he didn't. I've never been one for lying on the race. I mean, if you don't tell someone something, that's a different story than out and out telling them the wrong information. That's really cruel. But it's a game, it's cutthroat, I suppose, but I'm saying I couldn't live like that. I would feel totally guilty. So Brook and Claire figured out that they shouldn't have also taken a taxi, so they went back to the beginning so that they avoided getting their penalty. So the roadblock, That was at the Peter and Paul Fortress. And it was Russian bowling. Gorodki. You have to use a wooden bat. You get 2 tries per frame, just like on our bowling. You have to clear 3 different pin formations. How many times did they overuse Phil getting knocked off of those Russian bowling pins? That was hilarious. They couldn't have done it enough. As far as I'm concerned, I'm just glad Phil didn't get hurt. But you know what? Falling is funny. I'm sorry. This also was harder than it looked. It seems like a lot of those Russian sports are harder than they look. Kevin, you were getting on my nerves. You know, begging your dad to finish it and being a general jerk is not going to get him to finish the task any faster. And Chad, don't be a Nick. You're starting to turn into a jerk. Well, I shouldn't say starting. You've been borderline jerk most of the race. So after they finish the Russian bowling, they figure out inside the fortress is the pit stop. Nat and Kat arrive first, and they each won $5,000. Not too shabby. Brook and Claire were in second. Nick and Vicki, not doing a speed bump, were in third. Fourth was Gary and Mallory. Fifth was Jill and Thomas. And they almost couldn't pay the taxi driver. It was getting ugly. They were grabbing their backpacks and stuff. Michael and Kevin had the same problem too. They wanted 10,000 of, what was it, rubles? They didn't have it. So they just gave them all the money they had, I suppose. All right, so Chad and Stephanie arrived in 6th place, but they didn't have their bags, so they had to go back and get the bags. Michael and Kevin then tried to check in 6th place. Oh, sorry guys, 2 penalties, 30 minutes each. Cool your heels for an hour. Wow, that is a long penalty. So then Chad and Stephanie tried to check back in 6th place. Nope, you got a 30-minute penalty, but since the other team is waiting out an hour, you can end up in 6th place, which means Michael and Kevin came in last, and they are unfortunately eliminated, which made me feel really bummed out because I was really rooting for them. So next time, Chad and Stephanie are MIA. Oh, did they oversleep, or what? I don't know what the hell's going on with them. Till next time, much love.